I got to tell you two Rusty stories before.
I love Rusty stories.
He used to cook ribs for the dinner. So it must be 85, 86. Charlie Kerfeld was a gigantic reliever with the Astros. So Rusty sent ribs from the dinner to the bullpen. And our cameras caught Charlie eating ribs in the bullpen during the game, right before he's supposed to come in. He got fined $500 by the Astros manager for eating during a game.
That it was worth it. His ribs are delicious.
Jay Horwitz, a special edition of amazing conversation with an old friend, Lauren Profeta. So 2025 is a lot of great anniversaries. There's the 25th anniversary of the National League Championship team, 10th anniversary of the 2015 NL team, 40th anniversary of Dwight Gooden's Cy Young year. But for me, very special anniversaries. The 40th anniversary of Answer the Call, which Lauren since 2013 has been the executive director of, and it was founded by my great friend, the great Rusty Staub. And in those 40 years, Lauren, you guys have donated, served over 1,000 families and donated over $180 million for first responders. What does it mean to you to be 40 years of doing great things? I know you're just doing it since 2013, but what are a lot of great things you guys have done through the years?
It's incredible to be part of this organization and know that it's impacted families for over 4 decades. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how the organization started, but your friend Rusty was reading the newspaper and was confronted with a really horrific story of a police officer killed in the line of duty. Going a little bit further back, when Rusty was young, his uncle was killed in the line of duty in New Orleans. And he saw what his aunt experienced, what his cousins experienced, and it really stuck with him. And then flash forward, he's retiring from the amazing Mets, and he was reading the newspaper, and he saw a photo of a widow with 3 young children. I think the youngest was only 5 at the time, who had just lost their father, a police officer in the line of duty. And in that moment, he just knew he had to do something, and he founded this charity. He was involved for the rest of his life. It truly was his greatest passion. And I'm proud to say that family that inspired Rusty 40 years ago is still being served by the organization today. So when we say we never forget, it's truly something we mean. And it was truly something that Rusty meant when he made that.
What separates your organization from others like you is it's just that one specific, you do tell the people all the different facets of the first responders you serve, police, firemen, as a whole.
Sure. Yeah, so we serve the NYPD police officers, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey police officers, firefighters, and EMTs from the FDNY. So all of those departments are part of our family. We provide $50,000 immediately when there's a line of duty death. Their world stops, but the bills don't, and we don't want them to have to worry about how they're going to make ends meet during that horrific time. But then what really sets Answer the Call apart and was kind of the key to Rusty's vision was we wanted to stay with these families for the rest of their lives. When everyone kind of goes away and goes about their everyday lives, we stay, and we provide an annual stipend for the families. Last year, it was $11,500 for each of the families, and we currently serve over 500 families still. And that money means so much. Our older widows, it helps with health costs. It helps with home repairs. Our younger widows and widowers, it helps with schooling for their young children or extracurricular or Little League. And then we host programs. We have events for the families. We have mentorship programs for the families. And it really does become this bigger family, a family no one wants to be part of. But they're really glad it's there if they need it.
So Rusty has been gone. His birthday is April 1st, and he passed away. I'll never forget the call. I was sitting in my office March 29th, 2018. I had seen him a couple of times in the spring. But even though he's gone, there's still the Mets affiliation. So May 28th, you guys have your 40th dinner at Citi Field, UCBHA. And how do you invite the families? Let me tell you what Rusty used to do. To come to the locker room. Horwitz, I need you to get 8 Mets out there after BP to sign. And Rusty used to go into the visiting locker room, get people out there to sign for the families. So the tradition continues. May 28th is the right date, Lauren?
That's right. So that's the 40th anniversary game and family day. And I don't call and say, Horwitz, get me the players, but I usually call and say, Mr. Horwitz, can you help out and get some of those players to
Yes,
help us this year?
yes.
And we send an email to all of the families. We have over 1,000 family members who have lost a loved one in the line of duty come free of charge. We have a big pregame reception for them, activities for the kids, foods, drinks. Players come sign autographs. And then afterwards, we all enjoy a game. We usually have some of our kids throughout the first pitch each year for the annual game and family day, and it's just really special.
Can I start? I got to tell you two Rusty stories before.
I love Rusty stories.
So, he used to cook ribs out for the dinner. So it must be 85, 86. Charlie Kerfeld was a gigantic reliever with the Astros. So Rusty sent ribs from the dinner to the bullpen, and our cameras caught Charlie eating ribs in the bullpen during the game, right before he's supposed to come in. He got fined $500 by the Astros manager for eating during a game. But another
That it was worth it. His ribs are delicious.
the ribs. I used to go. Do you ever go to the place on 73rd Street? I used to go there all the time. I lost in a rib eating contest. The other story I got to tell you, Rusty's birthday's coming up is April 1st, right? So I have a kind of crazy sense of humor. So I put an ad in the St. Pete Times. Rusty Staub will be signing autographs at the local A&P from 9 to 4 in the afternoon. Free autographs. He got so mad at me. He hired a guy to throw a cake in my face, and then dinner. But you know what? Before you got to tell people too, this was only one of Rusty's charities, right? He had another foundation that kind of stopped when he died. So two different foundations. Not many people do that.
No, I mean, he was a legend on the field, but incomparable off the field. I mean, this was a man who truly cared about people and devoted his life to it. And it's an honor for me, the rest of the staff, the board, to be able to continue that for him. He's still changing lives.
Lord, how does somebody? Unfortunately, it's tragic news in the paper every day. How do you come across? How do you find out about people reading the paper, getting the call, watching TV? How do you find out what what you got to do?
Combination, a lot of the times we find out the same time as everybody else. We hear a tragic breaking news story on the TV, and sometimes the department will call us and let us know. But usually our first step is to check in with the departments, confirm, who the beneficiary is, that it is a line of duty death, and then we connect with the family as soon as they want to connect with us. We can get the check to them within 24 hours if need be.
Is there one family that sticks out? From the beginning, is there one family that you could share a story of how your foundation has changed their lives?
I wouldn't want to single out a family without checking for their approval for me to use their names, but there's just so many. You would never be able to choose just one, and it's truly a privilege getting to learn and not to just get to know the family, but get to hear about the first responder that they lost. Because I think a lot of times we think of them as just a firefighter or a police officer or an EMT, but these are full human beings that had hobbies and interests and families, and the loss is just incredibly great.
Before you started with the foundation, Rusty was a big mover in how the Mets responded on 9/11. He consorted with friends, John Franco and Al Leiter, and make a long story short, everybody with the organization donating a day's salary to. Again, I'm going to say I got to look at the New York Police and Farm Widows and Children's Benefit Fund. That's a mouthful. I like better.
We have our DBA of Answer the Call, make it a little bit easier.
Much better. But so he was, this was one of the, I'm really so proud of what we did on 9/11, and Rusty's, consideration, dedication was a big part of how we responded. So he's been going like crazy. And one thing with Rusty's career, he's the only guy to have 500 hits in 4 different teams. And if he had stayed with one team, one of my sorrows that he's not in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame guy should be a character and ability. Is nobody. I never met a guy more giving than Rusty Staub and what he did.
I completely agree.
Do you have a favorite Rusty Staub story, Lauren, at all?
Oh my gosh, where do you start? I mean, he was just, I guess, one of my favorite visuals that I have when I think about Rusty was actually at the annual Game and Family Day. And there was no greater celebrity star anybody to the families that we serve than Rusty. Every year he would just set up an area, and the families would just flock. I mean, they would be hugging him. He'd be asking them about, how their year went. He knew who just got accepted to what school, or what was going on in their lives. And it was evident the love that he had for the families, and clear as day how much love the families had for Rusty and still have for Rusty. I mean, every year on his birthday, we'll get messages from some of the families that we serve just saying that they're thinking of him, um, and just happy. I mean, I've never seen him happier than when he was with the families at the game and saw the kids smiling and everybody excited.
I mean, I guess it could report to you to know how much dedicated Rusty was to keep up his legacy, right? Even though he's been gone for 70, he's comfortably with 70 years now. It just kind of drives you guys to keep up what he started, 40 years later.
Completely. And I mean, when Rusty was sick towards the end, he was still joining board calls from the hospital bed. I mean, this was a man that was committed, to making a difference. And it's, like I said, it's really just an honor to be able to do our part to continue that legacy for Rusty. And he's present. All the board members, all the staff members who had the privilege to know him, still talk about him all the time. And the ones who didn't, love hearing the stories about him.
So I to see this. He was my jogging partner on the road. Rusty was the executive jogger style. We selected a job in Montreal, which was his home base. So we would jog to the top of a mountain, and he would have a cab waiting for us to bring us down, so we wouldn't have to run two ways. And he was always worried about my weight. You got to jog with me, Jay, and we would jog up to the mountain, and we never had to jog down. And he would do that. But I'm glad, that we were able to keep the Mets part of this. We had all the dinners at Shea, and with all the barbecues, and Rusty always used to send stuff up to the announcers, and I'm glad we could keep up that part of the tradition with you, Lauren.
We are too, and you guys remain amazing. I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we had the son of a firefighter killed on September 11th who was interested in sports management and social media. And I called you, Jay. I don't know if you remember, and I was like,
I
"Can you
do, I
help
do.
out?" And you guys helped him get an internship, and I mean, he still raves about it to this day. And at this year's annual Game and Family Day, and I don't know if I can do a quick plug. I have the website here. If anyone
Sure,
wants to buy a ticket, you buy a ticket, you could come join us, and the money goes to help support the families. It's gameandfamilyday.eventbrite.com, and Eventbrite is EVENTBRITE. But if you already have a ticket, you'll be at the game. The Mets have very generously, made us the beneficiary of their 50-50 raffle that day. So if you're at the game on May 28th, please buy a raffle. The money will support the families that we serve.
where are we going to be? I know the picnic here. Where are we going to be during
I don't know. I think this is the first year, that the Mets are doing the 50-50. I'm thinking it'll be all throughout the stadium. I'm sure there'll be announcements, being made. We'll have volunteers walking around selling them as well. So more information, but if you follow us on social media, our website, answerthecall.org, you'll be able to find out more information. And as we get the information, we'll post it.
You don't have to be a family member to come.
So we have a private reception just for our families. For that, it's only for our families, or if you've purchased a specific ticket through Answer the Call, at that website I just shared, gameandfamilyday.eventbrite.com. If you are not buying a ticket directly through us, a lot more people at that Mets game than just us throughout the stadium. You can still purchase a 50-50 raffle, even if you're just attending the game and not our specific event.
And who's carrying the flame for Rusty is his good buddy Keith. Every time we have one of the games, I would go up to Keith, and during the game, he'd always tell what being part of this meant to him. And like Rusty had so many good friends. Like I said, when this game comes up, they know right what it is, how important it was to Rusty, and do everything they can to promote it. So I'm sure, when we get to the game day before or after, we'll say the right things on the air, because guys like Keith was. I think Keith and I used to alternate visits to the hospital when Rusty was sick at the end. He never missed a visit, and he left such an impactful. You know what Rusty did too was the kind of guy, Lauren. When he came up to the office, said hello to the secretary, said hello to the telephone operators. I mean, with his pass, it left this void with so many people here, not just the players, just the regular office people. Because he was such a good guy.
Yeah, he really was. He was exceptional.
Going up to it, you gonna do any promotions before the game? So just by the address which you just gave to get involved.
Yeah, so the address is game@familyday.eventbrite, and that's eventbrite.com. We'll be posting about it once tickets go on sale. We also have sponsorship opportunities if there's any companies watching who want to get involved. There's family packages. And again, we'll be posting on social media about the different ways to support. And then beyond the game, throughout the year, we have events. We have a young professional event that's happening on May 8th. We'll have our 40th anniversary gala in October this year at Cipriani. There'll be more information about that as well. We also have a big block party we'll be having at Brookfield Place by the waterfront in late June. So I definitely encourage people, if you follow us on social media, answer the call NYC. That's what we're called on Instagram and on Facebook. We'll continue to be posting information. And, we're a small team, but we're small and mighty, and we do as much as we possibly can for our families.
Well, I'll do anything I can for my good buddy, the Grand Orange, like I used to say. It's great having you, and I hope to see him not then, definitely see you on the 28th. And, anything I could do for my area, we will do. And thanks for coming on, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Jay. I will definitely see you May 28th and hopefully sooner. And I hope to see all the people watching at the game as well.